be sure to hold the reins until the horse is in the chute, and drop your reins and grasp the belt. Now, during this operation, you should maintain the approach position. Forward! Oh! All, you start it. That's fine, Hall. Chapman, you're next. You're in too much of a hurry. Remember, you must get your horse in the chute before you drop the reins. No, Alan, watch out. Grasp your belt as soon as you commit your horse to the chute. You're not ready to handle your reins over the jump yet. Weston, you were too anxious. You jumped from your stirrups and threw yourself off balance. Come here. Now, this is what you did, probably because you were looking at the jump. You tightened your grip on the belt. That made your arm muscles contract, and in turn, stiffened your whole body. This was the result. It's called jumping from the stirrups. Now, is that clear?
Yes, it is. I realize what I did.
All right. Now, we'll all go through it again. Smith, you lead off. That's fine. Right in. This method of using the waist belt is useful in training horses as well as riders to jump. Here comes Sergeant Jones on a remount. I'll ask him to demonstrate what I mean. Sergeant, we're using waist belts as an aid in jumping. Do you mind showing us how you use yours to prevent bumping your remount on the mouth? Not at all. Sergeant Jones' horse has had very little jumping experience. Note how erratic you'll be on the approaches and jumps. Watch. Notice how his waist belt assists him in maintaining his balance. If he were holding his reins on a rough jump like this, he could not avoid jerking them. If he had nothing to hold on to, he could not maintain his balance sufficiently to avoid handicapping his horse. Well, that's enough for this period. Before we go to higher jumping, our platoon leader will give us a demonstration. Well, let's go back to the stables.
While working in the chute over very small obstacles, the problem of control of the horse was eliminated, and the essential point was to ride in a forward balance. Without the chute, however, and as the jumps get higher, you require more technique, both in the approach and in the gymnastics of the jump. Now watch carefully for this technique as Sergeant Jones takes the jumps. All right, Sergeant. Here, you see it in slow motion. During the approach, the rider increases the forward inclination of his body sufficiently to maintain his center of gravity slightly in advance of his base of support. The angle of inclination becomes perfect when it is exactly parallel to the line of thrust of the horse. Once during each stride, the rider is in this position with his buttocks out of the saddle and his feet forming his base of support. The weight of the rider is borne principally by the thighs, diminishing rearward, with practically none at the buttocks. Note the angles of the parts of the body. This is the start of the takeoff. The hands must be passive here. Any unnecessary movement on their part or shifting of the weight at this point will upset the horse's balance. If the rider's position is correct at the takeoff, he will be thrown slightly forward and upward without voluntary effort. Watch for it. Here is the takeoff. The knee angles open and the hip angles close. The increased weight in the stirrups causes the angles of the ankles to close also. Over the jump, The buttocks are kept out of the saddle by the rider's balancing on his lower thighs, knees, and stirrups. The back must not be too relaxed, as muscular control of body and balance would then be lost, causing the rider to fall back into the saddle or forward on the neck of his horse. During the descent and in landing, the forward inclination of the